Now for a movie rant break, One Up presents a movie rant break. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Movie Rant Break. Got a dope episode as always, and today got a returning guest, Matt G, in the building.
What is happening? Your expert, everybody, on blue sea people.
Undersea people.
Undersea.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Blue people. He back. We foretold this in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever review. Check that out, everybody, if you haven't listened to it, because we broke that film down pretty well, showed some love. Today we're going over Avatar: The Way of Water, and directed by James Cameron.
Fuck that guy.
Wow. Hate. So we're not going to accept hate on the show. Screenplay by James Cameron.
I got hate in my heart.
Let it out. Got Rick Jaffa doing the screenplay along with Amanda Silver. Story by James Cameron, Rick Jaffa, Amanda Silver, Josh Friedman, Shane Salerno. Starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, love you girl, Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, Cliff Curtis, Joel David Moore, CCH Pounder? Is that a fucking name?
Pounder.
God damn.
Give me that CCH Pounder. It sounds like a big ass beer. I don't know if I'm being trolled.
I'm being trolled, yeah. All from the no brand shit. It's like the CCH Pounder.
The CCH Pounder.
Shout out to
this will get you drunk.
Yo, it's a woman, actually. Wow. CCH Pounder.
It's a very unfortunate name for a woman.
She's made it. Good for her.
True.
Eddie Falco, Jermaine Clement, Giovanni Ribisi, and Kate Winslet. Cinematography by Russell Carpenter. Music by Simon Franklin. This came out December 16th in the U.S. with a runtime of 192 minutes. Budget, it says 350 to 400 million, but I was told that this film needed to hit 2 billion to break even.
Yeah.
I heard that. And currently this is Friday. Technically, it was opened Thursday the 15th,
yeah,
right?
I saw it last night, yeah.
But the opening day is the 16th, which is today. So
we just like to extend the weekends for box office sales, that's all.
Yeah, that's fine. And we've been doing it for a minute.
Yeah, that's, James Cameron, that's all he cares about is box office sales. Doesn't even care about putting out quality movies anymore.
Wow. So are you saying that you like the original Avatar?
It's better than this dog shit that I got.
Okay. Yeah, because the original came out back in 2009, September.
Like,
that was 13 years ago.
He just, brought back characters, and we're going to get into it, that just,
we're dead?
I just don't care about that villain. We'll get into it once you, do your synapse on the story, but, I have, a really big bone to pick with this.
Okay, so, the brief breakdown of the film is Jake Sully, the original main character of the first Avatar. It's about him and his family years later also they're also being pursued by more Sky people.
Yes, more Sky people. The same, what do you want to call him? Commander that, Colonel that Jake Sully turned on in the first one. Apparently they took his conscious and sent it back to Earth to put him in an avatar in case he died in battle. And then he comes back with his whole crew, all his avatars.
It seemed that premise should have come out movie 4 or 5, the final one or something.
The guy wasn't even that fucking cool in the first one as a villain.
I liked him, actually. I thought he was cool.
But, all right, here's my thing. With a villain, this is my bone to pick really quick. This is my big bone. With a villain that comes back for another movie, typically the villain ends up, on top at the end of the first movie. This guy didn't on top. He ended up in a fucking box. Why? He wasn't good enough to bring back for another one. He's not like a Thanos level villain that you built this all up to. He's not.
How dare you?
It was just it was the most dog shit screenwriting I've seen for a movie in a long time for a movie that had as much hype as it did.
You didn't like the fact that they brought the villain back?
Not at all.
They played a little catch up at the beginning, which naturally has been 13 years since the other film was come out.
Yeah, it took 13 years to put out a fucking sequel. First off, sick,
which
dude.
Doesn't. I don't like that when it took this long and this is what we got. And I don't hate the film. I don't particularly think it's good.
It's not.
For 13 years, and from what I've read, it had something to do with filming underwater and the challenges of that, because there was issues where they were trying to film everything underwater and actors had to actually learn how to free dive.
Yeah.
and because they couldn't do scuba diving and shit like that because of the air bubble, so they're trying to make things authentic. And Kate Winslet actually like broke some record, I think, with like a 7.5 minute breath hold during the filming of this film, which is cool that the actors were underwater.
Cool.
But yet again, there's been other films that have been underwater that didn't take 13 years to make. And it's like, I don't think that helps this either. We've had Aquaman and we've also just saw Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, which the films played a lot underwater.
Yeah.
So I think if this film came out before those films did, which it could have, they had years and years. They had like 7 years.
They had a whole decade
before the other ones had come out. So I think that's what was a disservice to this film, was like, because I think that was the selling point to make this seem like, whoa, because when Aquaman originally first came out, I gave it, I think I just looked at the score, it was like a 7.8 because it was the first movie that was like underwater.
Yeah.
And they did the underwater shit. I thought really cool.
I liked Aquaman. Like,
yeah, it's not great.
It's not great, but you could have made it into like 2 movies. You know what I mean? But like,
yeah, the underwater shit was definitely cutting edge.
We're not here for Aquaman. We're here for this.
Yeah, but like that, I think for me watching on screen, that's why Pandora was so cool.
Yeah.
And the first Avatar was like all these things we hadn't seen, and then it's like you go underwater and you got a bunch of whales and shit. Like, I don't know. It's just not the best thing to do, in my opinion.
First off, I went on a date last night to see this movie. And the only reason I stayed in the movie theater was because I knew I was coming on your show to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
If I had my way, I would have walked out after an hour. I would have been like, you know what? An hour, I've wasted my time enough. It looks great. The only redeeming quality for this movie is I would say the level of actor and actresses that they got for it and the visuals.
Yeah.
But after an hour of the visuals, I'm all set.
You didn't love it.
The kid just starts speaking. They just start speaking whale.
Okay. Well, okay. So
am I watching Finding Nemo?
Okay. Like, okay. Because I wanted to get into this because most of the things that I actually were takeaways from the film had to do with whales. Like I thought, okay, the first film was kind of, they were preaching the like save Earth, save the trees thing. Like that was like an undertone that they didn't overdo it at times, but it was like yuppie in that sense, or it's like, you know, save the world, which is fine. In the first, it wasn't overly disruptive.
It's basically the story of, you know, the whites coming over to the Native Americans, but the Native Americans winning, like
type shit. Okay, and in this one, it felt save the whales.
Yeah,
a lot, and I just thought it was really overdone.
It was. Is James Cameron plots to his movies, he's just thinking about like national like crises to like save things, like, oh, we have to save the planet, we got to save the whales. Is the next one going to be like my movies against anti-Semitism? Like, because that's the next biggest thing right now. Like, we can't talk to that tribe because they practice this certain type of religion. The dude's a fucking clown.
Okay.
Like, it was so fucking bad. It was like everything about it. They just start speaking whale, which was like, all right, where did that come from?
I didn't understand why they were
no context. I was like watching the movie and I was like, did I miss something where he just like starts speaking whale? Like,
yeah, like there was a lot of things they just didn't.
They were like, oh yeah, you speak whale.
Okay, so they get to this trial. If you go back to the beginning of the film, when they flee, Jake Sully and his family to the ocean tribe, because he's like, oh, we'll get lost in there.
Yeah,
and then he gets found, but that's besides the point. But as soon as they get there, they're all speaking English. Yeah. Why are they all speaking English? Like everybody spoke really good English.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a disservice that didn't help this film, because the first one was cool because you felt immersed in this culture.
Yeah, but like,
and this one didn't have the culture in it.
If I'm trying to put myself in James Cameron's shoes, it's like, well, the Sky People and James Sully have been here, and the other guy and him fought. So like, it's been like a decade of him being here. So I guess everybody can just speak English now. We just taught it everywhere as our main language. I don't fucking know. Like none of it. Like he just like threw a bunch of shit at a wall and saw what stuck.
It was kind of messy. I mean, there was a lot that went into this film that was like okay, like the visuals you said, like that. It was kind of supposed to be this gem of a visual.
Yeah,
and I like
my movie theater wasn't even packed. I don't know about yours. well,
I was at a 10:30 a.m. showing in IMAX.
I mean, it is IMAX though. Like, you know what I mean?
10:30 on a Friday.
I mean, Jack said out in L.A., excuse me, John Smith said out in L.A. that every show was booked until Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, it also was storming this weekend.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, it was snowing
for us. You act like I'm not here in person.
Okay. So everybody's speaking English, and then one of his kids spoke whale, or the whale could speak. Yeah.
And it was like some like outcast story, like that son was the outcast of the family and this whale was the outcast. And it was like, this is the corniest shit. And then like really quick, we'll get into it, obviously, that they get found and then like his oldest son gets killed. I didn't care. I had no emotional connection to that character.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck either.
Like if they would have killed the younger one out of the sons, I was like, he had more screen time. I would have understood it more.
Yeah, which one was killed? The younger one or the
older one?
The older
one that was like, oh, I'm the good big brother. I protect my younger brother. Like, ooh. Like, there's no emotional connection to that character. He died, and I was like, all right, cool. Like,
I didn't really give a fuck either. I was ready to get out of theater, to be honest.
Yeah, that's so sad when you have a movie that took 13 years and you're just sitting there like, I'm ready for this to be over.
Yeah.
I've had enough.
The dreads. What did you think about the dreads?
Dreads were fine.
You're okay with the dreads?
Yeah, cool. Whatever. Like,
all right. I felt that in the first film there was no nipples on the avatars, and there was like I noticed nipple in this.
Free the nipple. It's another James Cameron agenda.
Okay,
I don't know. I'm just
stripes.
I just fucking hate James Cameron, dude. He's such a fucking clown.
What about the Tarzan kid?
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it got at first it was like okay, and then it was like it got cringy,
and it's like it happens to be the Colonel's son.
Yeah, like that was okay. So that was
fucking blow my brains out, dude.
That was okay. So Sully comes back.
Yeah,
that would have been or not Sully. The Colonel comes back as Avatar. Wouldn't have hated it. But the kid thing was something that was thrown in there. Like, okay, you're throwing in that you saved his consciousness and his memories and put it. Okay, that's all right.
Fine.
But then he's gonna have a kid, and then Sigourney Weaver's character had a kid as well.
And like
that's an Avatar.
That's
kid.
An Avatar, but
like they don't know who fucked her.
And you want to know? I was literally because who I went and saw the movie. We talked about it after the movie, and I was sitting there and I was like, James Cameron's gonna do some like Bible shit, like that Sigourney Weaver's character was impregnated by the planet, and that kid's like the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Oh, and that's kind of
or the second coming of what like their mother or whatever, like great mother. And I was like, this is the dumbest shit. Like, you could already, like, start to put the pieces together for what dumb shit he's going to do for the next movie. I'm never seeing another Avatar movie again.
It made me not care about Avatar anymore.
It was so fucking bad. There
was points that were okay, but then for me, there was points where I was like, okay, like, this is not that cool.
I'm done. Cool. I got to a point in that movie theater where I was like, I'm fucking done. I'm ready for this to be over. I don't care about any of these characters.
I cared about Jake Sully and his girl and Zoe Saldana's character less.
But like even that situation when the son dies and he's like, they have our daughters. We need to get it together. I was like,
I did fuck with how, but see, like that scene I thought was tight because those two just smoked the.
I was gonna say another redeeming quality. The action was cool. Cool action, like pretty cool. It was filmed interesting. Like I liked it. Like, but like. The whole story, it was so like it was like the storyline was like of an 80s action movie, and it was so pissly poor and written. It was so fucking bad.
I don't know after so many years why this wasn't more well put together because there was parts of the film that were, but then the whale thing for me,
I think
the kid became friends with the whale. He's talking whale. The whale understands him. I can believe Pandora and Avatar is all like really intense shit and
like bonding and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like intimate. But this was just like seemed out of the lore of Avatar. Like it was too easy. Like because like remember in the first one there was all this like heritage and like culture and like purpose and almost like theology, everything's connected.
Lore of the world.
Like, yeah, and this was just like talking to whales. It was just like not, and then like poachers, and it was just.
This is why we're doing this.
It seemed
this reduces aging by everybody. This is $80 million.
Which okay, hold on, because that shit was.
Oh, excuse me, Cranky. Right here is $80 million worth of liquid gold.
Okay, before we get to that, I wanted to say. The Avatar, The Way of Water is like the Hollywood version of Avatar.
Yes. Yeah, I think that
it went super Hollywood, and it felt super Hollywood, and
you couldn't have hit a point harder home than that.
I mean, there was avatars with tattoos. Like, what's good with it? I was like, that's so OD. This is so not Avatar. This is Hollywood Avatar. It's like, oh, let's do Avatar people with tats. So they
got my hold on here really quick, guys. I may have got killed in battle, but when I come back as an Avatar, I want my war eagle right here on my arm. Yeah, right faded. Where it was, faded. Just like the old tattoo.
Yeah. So to the $80 million thing, they're 6 years away from Pandora to get there from Earth.
Yeah.
A dying planet.
Yeah.
And then 6 years back. So that's 12 years with a team and technology of that stature. You're telling me that's only $80 million. Get the fuck out of here. To be immortal, $80 million. Like, I don't know what the dose was
I think it was like the most minimal dose.
But still, I would think it would go for a lot more if it took 12 years just to get your hands on.
Yeah, true.
Plus, look how big the staff was. They had to spend 12 years to do that. I mean, maybe they're shipping it. I don't know, but this is the problem.
Here's the thing, too, though, is like maybe I got quotas to reach. Like, for who? They're probably dead.
That's why 80 million, I'm like, it's got to be like $1 billion or something. Bro, it cost so much just to get there, I would assume.
It was so fucking annoying. It was there's certain aspects that like I won't be able to put this movie below a certain score. But like,
no, agreed. And that's a great point. That's a great point.
I've never wanted to walk out of a movie theater until I saw this movie.
Oh, I've wanted to walk out of a movie theater. See, like there was things like, what do you think of Mind Reader Machine?
Oh my god!
Because
it didn't break you. Good job. Like, I was like, dude, this is so fucking bad. It was so bad.
Yeah, and like this film is
I can't get the point out of my head that you're like, this is Hollywood's version of Avatar, and it's just implanted in the frontal lobe of my brain.
They disregard everything that made the original good.
Correct.
You have characters that were dead that come back. They're forced into it. Things that were really impactful, like Iowa. Remember those little
and the thing is too is like I feel like the first one, like James Cameron, you did a good job in the first one of character building. You made me care about the characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't care about anybody in this fucking movie besides the characters from the first one.
Yeah, I'll be honest. So I watched the first Avatar last night. I had tears came down because it's some parts you do care about the characters so much.
Yeah,
and like life.
Yeah,
and it's such like a good messaged film.
Yes,
that it's heavy at times. It really is. Like there was tears. 100%. I was like, this is really like dope. You know what I mean? And this shit just was like Hollywood jokey, like not jokey, but to watch face value was like, why is this kid just made a friend with a whale? This is like, really? This is what we waited 13 years for? Like this, come on. Like I wanted some heavy hitting written shit.
I hope this movie absolutely fucking flops in the box office. I know it won't. I know it's not going to.
I think it might not do as good as you think. The theater was quiet. There was a few claps at the end, and I was like, I can't believe you're clapping for that film.
Clap.
There was like a non-confident clap, and I was like,
please.
I don't like the fact that people clap at theaters in general is blasphemous to me.
Clapping when the airplane lands. It's like, all right,
that's at least you survived it. Like
that's you know what? I should have clapped at the end of this movie because I survived the fucking movie. That's how bad I was. So bad. So bad.
The whale dodging harpoons it was overly purposeful in how it was. You know what I mean? It was like it did like SAR the harpoon coming in, it did like a dodge move. I was like,
that was like the LeBron James of whales being like, I'm seeing what you're doing, so I'm gonna run this play and go around you. I'm gonna take the harpoon and pull it, and then I'm gonna hop over the boat and hit the boat,
slam dunk it.
And then the guy that had the harpoon, I'm gonna make sure that the cable goes around his arm, and I'm gonna chop off his arm.
Yeah.
Who's got the harpoon now?
Yo, I know. And the whale's talking to the kid. I'm like,
and the whole fucking like the poacher just being Australian. Like, why?
I like that. I was like,
I was like,
give us some flavor right now. We needed it. You're talking about it because this is some flavor. Dude, that's some flavor. Come on, he's. I mean,
honestly, out of the characters in the movie, I kind of cared about him more than the kid dying. At least he had a cool accent.
How'd you feel about the Aqua people, like the Aqua Navi?
I didn't give a fuck.
I thought it was cool to change it. I was like, oh, this is showing a different side of Pandora.
It was cool. Like the whole water aspect was cool. How they like different tribe. Like they could have went into the whole different tribe thing a lot more, I think, to build character and make me care more about these people. Then there was like, yeah, here's a little character building with like the Aqua people. Boy and whale. He speaks whale now.
Yeah.
I literally looked over and I was like, did I miss something? Like, he just started talking whale. I'm like, I'm watching Finding Nemo.
Yeah, you were. It was Finding Nemo. It was Finding the Navi.
It was finding a fucking noose to hang myself in the back of the theater.
You're grounded. You can't fly for a month. I fucked with that. I was like, that, if I was like part of the tribe, that would suck. Yeah, like, I can't fly for a month. Goddamn.
No wheels for a month. Shit.
Flying's like the coolest shit you can do. I mean, this Pandora is cool. Like,
the whole idea of it is so cool, and it's like very, very much like what I like. Like the more I've like thought about the original Avatar, the more I've liked it because there's things that I like in stories, which is really like world building. That's why I like Game of Thrones so much. Like Game of Thrones does a great job of it. I just finished reading Dune. I'm so excited for the movies to come out now because now I know exactly like what the world is, like the direction they're going in, the whole world building aspect of it. And it's like shit like that I really, really like. And he had that in the first one. And then just pissed down his fucking leg for the second one.
Yeah.
The only way I go see the third one is if you see it and you go,
you're going to have to come back with the third one.
No.
Yes.
I'm not watching another. I'm not giving another $1 to James Cameron in my entire life.
Yes, he doesn't know.
You can pay for me to go.
Oh, I have to pay for you.
I'm not.
That's fine.
I'm not giving another $1 to James Cameron.
Oh, okay.
And then the whole boat sinking. I was like, oh, this is poetic. You know, he did. You know, Titanic. This is great. Boat was making like the same sounds as that Titanic was. It was. You know, I was like, oh my god.
Like these sounds are dated.
Yeah. And the little girls getting away from the boat, then going back to the boat, getting caught again. I was like, oh my god. I know, that was the most realistic thing ever, though. We could go back and save the day. Wrong.
Yeah, like the little girl's like, I can't believe I'm in cuffs again.
I can't believe I'm in cuffs again. It's like, what the fuck you think is gonna happen?
Like, bitch, you're like 11. Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. What? So the whales, right? When it's got the tracker in it, and there's 6 Navi, 7 Navi, all yanking to pull out a dart. I'm like, I think they'd be able to, based on how much they've shown, how the strength of a Navi, they should be able to yank that out
real quick.
Like. They like hooked it up like a Ford truck with a wench to their flying pterodactyl.
Hey man, I see you in that ditch down there. Let's get you out of there, all right?
Yeah, and they like still couldn't get it out. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Come on, you guys aren't pushing.
Yeah.
It's just...
But like on some like real shit too though, the Iowa, their god, how do you say it? Is it? Remember the little...
Yeah, the floating, you know...
The legs, floating legs or whatever. Yeah. That was all around Sigourney Weaver's kid. She's actually doing the voice. I don't know if you know that.
I figured,
But the kids aren't surprised to see those around. And I thought that was a big deal for their culture. Like, oh, this is like a divine sign.
They're like, she's weird. And I was like, it's because she's...
No, when they were at home, like before they had left, I think. Like, they just didn't acknowledge it. And I was like, I thought that was like...
a big deal.
Because it is in the original, like when the floating legs or whatever are floating around, it's some purity,
some spiritual shit
going on, and it was like
it's the Great Mother.
They just got away from that, and I think that's what made
James Cameron let a lot of things get away from him with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they could have used the Colonel coming back with a later film.
Yeah.
Like I think it would have been a cool.
And then him just surviving at the end because little Tarzan saved him.
No, yeah, that's obviously like whatever.
I was like,
so he's coming back for the next.
I was like, just kill him. He's not good. Like he's not that cool. Like,
but I think it would have made more sense if he came back into the picture later on, and. If you're gonna do that, like
I guess,
or maybe get it over with. I don't know, but I'm saying that there's a lot of story you could do with Pandora with other tribes. Maybe they're trying to come and fuck their shit up and like see Navi versus Navi shit. Like I didn't want the same like a Hollywood version of what we got in the first one.
Correct. Yeah, I wanted like an inter-tribe battle would have been cool, and then like trying to like make peace and all that. Like like to then like for the next one set up facing the sky people. You know what I mean? I thought that would have been really cool. But like what we got, like man, like so them bringing the villain back, the Colonel. Really like bothers me the most about it is I know you watch sports. I don't know like how memeable stuff. So there was this time, you know who Paul Pierce is, right?
Yes.
So Paul Pierce in his last year was getting harassed by Draymond Green, being like, "You thought you were getting a farewell tour? You thought you was Kobe?" That's how I feel about this. Like they thought like this villain was Kobe Bryant, and it's just Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is a good player, gonna be a Hall of Famer, but he's not Kobe.
Wow.
He's not that level of villain. Why'd you bring him back? Why did he get a second round?
I don't think that's the worst part. I personally, the worst part...
The worst part was the whales.
Can I say my part?
Sorry.
Why do you have to take that from me? Exactly. You just took that from me.
Because James Cameron took 3 hours and 15 minutes of my life away from me.
So now you're just going to come up here on my show and take my words.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, the worst part was the whales.
The fuck? You just look at me, agree to terms. The worst part was the whales.
The whales, like the worst part was the whale shit and the lack of explanations to what was happening, the direction. Can I finish?
Yes, sorry.
And the fucking direction of the film. It just like went in a direction that was not that cool and then just kept not being cool. And then they just were being kind of lazy with the explanations of things. They weren't explaining things. And it just made the consumer and the watcher not be invested into watching what you were watching. You're like, I don't, like you said, a kid dies and you're like, yeah, fuck him.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like whatever. Fuck him. He was whack anyway.
Yeah, like the whales thing could have been way cooler than it was if it was explained and like made a big deal before he just started speaking whale. Like if they had the whole scene where the whales came back into the bay and it was like, yeah, listen, like, we have like this spiritual connection with them. Like blah blah blah, and then it was like, oh, so this like outcast kid gets an outcast whale, but instead they did it in the reverse order, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, and it was so funny when one of the whales gets killed, the leader's woman is like, she was trying to give birth for so many times, and she finally gave birth this time, and it was like, we're talking about the whales having a hard time reproducing.
Yeah, man.
Fuck, it's hard out here.
Whales ain't fucking. Whales ain't fucking.
Whales ain't fucking. Goddamn. So, I mean, I got the point. The whales need our help. So, mission accomplished. Yo, they killed this.
Yeah, man.
I got the message.
Yeah, well, message received, Mr. Cameron.
We need
ready to serve.
Yo, where are the whales at? Yeah, I think they were just too much to live up to, and they should have just left it alone, unfortunately. But that happens in a lot. I think this is just a typical sequel in Hollywood that had way too much anticipation, and it just fell really short, unfortunately.
On its face.
like
on its blue fucking face. Visuals were cool, though.
Visuals were cool.
Action was cool.
Yo, do you know what was up with like another thing that I didn't fuck with that added to everything was Sigourney Weaver's kid with the freak. Yeah. She like plugged in, like was doing some weird hand gestures to control the shit under the water. Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing? Well, it was just another bad explanation of what's going on. It's like, why am
I think there's a reason it wasn't explained to us, and I think it's going to be the reason because I said like Sigourney Weaver's character was just impregnated by the great mother, and you know what I mean? That's
so they're lesbians.
Pushing P, yeah. Yeah. So I think that's why. I think there's a reason we did an explanation for that. But like, sake James Cameron, I saw this story in the Bible.
Yeah, this shit is sweet. What do you have for a score for this film?
4.5. I like visually. It was a beautiful movie. Visually, the action was good. Everything else in between it was so fucking piss poor. But I can't go below a 4. So 4.5.
I know. I like.
And the reason I gave the 0.5 really quick is because I do like the actors and actresses in this movie.
Yeah, there was some okay shit. It just is, as a whole, especially talking about it, I'm like, fuck. They definitely missed it. I mean, I got the point with the save the whales.
Yeah, man, we're saving the whales.
I'm gonna hit with.
Okay.
A lot of it is doing the fact of just like it was ambitious. I just think they missed the timing of the water thing. Like if this,
I think like that's a great point you made.
Like because that was supposed to be what was so cool about it, and like it was like they created an entire world.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. It just everything in it this time around was just not good, and like I feel like it's like me being nice on some level.
I think it's you being overly nice. I think you're in the mouse's pocket, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Relax, Marvel. No, I
think you're in the mouse's pocket.
Dude, you're so stupid.
How much is Mickey paying you?
Dude, you want to know what the reception of this film was?
What?
So far? IMDb gave it 8.2.
Oh, my God.
And Rotten Tomatoes 79.
How much do they pay for those?
A lot. I mean, they have to pay a lot of writers.
Yeah.
Or they're fake shit.
It's not. If you think that movie is anywhere close to an 8, like, listen, I'm a James Cameron hater. I've said it before. But, like, if you think that movie's anywhere close to an 8 or as good as the original one, I think there's something severely wrong with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, maybe I should, let me rethink, because, like, we talk about shit, I really, maybe I'm being a little nice. Because, like,
again, you and I are pretty, like, simultaneous on scores. And, like, I think a 4.5. I was, like, in my head, I got out of the movie theater and I go, okay, what is the lowest possible score I can give this movie? And I was like, I could give it a 4. I can't go below a 4 because the visuals were so great and the action was good. And then I was like, I can do 0.5 for, I like the main character, Sully, Sam, what's his last name? Worthington. And I like, obviously, Zoe.
Okay. I'm gonna retract my score. I'm gonna 5.1.
Okay. All right. Now we're getting somewhere.
Cause I started to think about me rewatching the film.
I could never rewatch that movie. Not a chance.
It's not good.
You'd have to pay me.
I won't be.
Not you. Just somebody would have to pay me.
Oh, okay. So you're hitting it with a 4.5.
Yeah. I swear, if John Smith likes this movie, I may not be friends with him anymore.
No. I'll be surprised if anybody's like, yo, that was so good. I think
if they came out and they're like visually, they were like, yeah, that movie was beautiful. I'd be like, yeah,
well, the movie was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
It just like the big thing also is like Tarzan, that whole shit, and like the resurrection of characters is just like. So I'm gonna hit it with a 5.1.
4.5.
Let's save the whales. Let's save the whales, people.
Save the whales, guys. Donate, please. 1-800 Save the Whales. Donate to your local whale.
Fuck yeah.
There's a hidden meaning behind that.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, we'll call it good then if you're good with it.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode at the Movie Rant Break. Hope you enjoyed this episode over Avatar: The Way of Water with Matt G.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on, as always. Again, shameless plug on YouTube, on Twitch, MG the Iceman. I stream Call of Duty Warzone 2. Right now, I am not streaming as much because I'm grinding the camos to like look like a professional streamer and have like the super fancy camos. So that's what I've been doing in my free time. But I'll be back playing Warzone here once they figure out their update shit. So make sure you pop in.
All right. Well, there you have it. So thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode. It's close to Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hope you all have a blessed holiday. And yeah, thank y'all. Check your next episode. Deuces.
Merry Christmas.